Thanks for joining us here today for meeting to talk and give you an introduction or a review of the signature room from Microsoft. My name is Eric Bixler. I'm with New Era Technologies, and we're excited to be able to share you some information from our partners Jabra, Lenovo, Jupiter, Salamander, and of course Microsoft. For those that you might not know, let me tell you a little bit about New Era. New Era is a global value-added reseller and with over 4,500 employees around the world. We specialize in a wide range of enterprise technologies and solutions that we are excited to support our customers with. We look forward to talking to you today about our video collaboration team. We call that group our Global Video Collaboration. And today we're going to be highlighting with our partners from Microsoft, Jabra, Lenovo, Jupiter, and Salamander. And then we'll be wrapping up with a little finishing conversation with New Era, and of course, the raffle to keep you to stay the entire time, right? If the content doesn't, at least maybe the raffle will. So that being said, we look forward to each, and we'll have some questions that you can put in the questions section, and then we'll address those at the end. So without any further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Randall Schwab from Microsoft.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. It's great to be here, everybody. Really is a rare opportunity that I get to be on a call and speak to many of our Teams Rooms partners all at the same time, as well as our customers. So really excited to be here, and want to thank all the partners as well for coming together and making this happen, and for New Era for, of course, facilitating it. I don't want to belabor the point and get too long-winded, because I know we are here to talk about signature rooms today. I want to bring everything together, but I do want to start by painting the picture of really where we are today. So it'll give us the foundation of really our direction from a product and portfolio perspective. And the fact of the matter is, I don't want to pontificate about the return to office and who's coming back or policies and things of that nature, but we are in a different world of work, right? I work remotely. 90% of my colleagues all work remotely. Building those connections with these folks it becomes growingly difficult, right? So we have to have mechanisms and means and tools at our disposal that help us continue to form those bonds within our offices and between our teams and our communities. But driving efficiency is really what I want to focus on, because I think we're all dealing with the same issues, right? We're all disparate. Everybody's working from home and in different capacities. And we have all these new meetings, calls, chats, and everything that we have to deal with. So we're accumulating quite a bit of what we call digital debt, and all trying to find efficiency. So how can we solve some of those problems and get to efficient? But before we go there, inefficient meetings, being one of the top productivity disruptors, is probably not a surprise to all, especially because we have the amount of meetings that we have each and every day, and we're bouncing from one to the other. So sometimes we're walking into a meeting late, and we need to know how we can catch up quickly and be able to contribute to that meeting. Sometimes we can't show up at all, and we want an efficient means to go ahead and get a recap of what was said and what are my action items. So, there's things that we can all do technology-wise to allow us to gain some efficiencies back in our day-to-day. And by the way, this was some stats that were taken from Work Trend Index, and that is a survey done over 30,000 people from all across the world that we did back in 2023. We do one of these each and every year. So it gives us a great perspective on really what the employee is feeling on their day-to-day work. So the answer to a lot of this is really going to be about Microsoft Teams. But let's go a step further and really say, hey, a lot of this is really about Microsoft Teams and Copilot. And for those of you who haven't heard a Microsoft presentation in a while, we're required to say Copilot at least 10 times in a meeting. So hopefully somebody's keeping track, and I can make sure to throw a couple of other ones in if need be. But all joking aside, really Microsoft Teams is the foundation and the platform, and it's the central component that brings us all together and allows us to communicate and work efficiently. One of the biggest benefits of Copilot and Teams meetings is the ability to get an intelligent recap. This is a feature set that I use every single day, multiple times a day, and it is the most clear line value add back to the user that Copilot can really bring from a very simplistic level, right? Ultimately, we want to be able to take a look at a meeting that I may have missed, find out what notes have been taken, identify who said what within a meeting. And if we're recapping and I haven't been in a meeting at all, it's great to have all the timestamps to the video. So that way I know, hey, I want to figure out what this person said in the meeting. But I mean, I want to go back and watch the entire video, right? So you want to be able to save time anywhere you can during the day. And, intelligent recap through meetings furnished by Copilot is an absolute game changer in the world of efficiency. But what about blind spots? So we got a lot of users that are adopting Copilot. What about blind spots? We meet in a lot of different places. We're not always behind our desk. Lots of times we're meeting in meeting rooms, right? We all love to go to the office, meet with our colleagues. At least I love to go to the office and meet with my colleagues. So we want to make sure that, the rooms are outfitted in the same capacity that provide the same benefits from an intelligent recap and Copilot perspective that you can from working from your desktop. So Teams rooms, I would say, is a blind spot that we all have to make sure that we're cognizant exists and that we work towards addressing. I'm not going to unpack everything on this slide today, and I think we're going to talk about intelligent cameras with IntelliFrame. We're going to talk about intelligent speakers as well as inclusive video layouts and AI-powered audio and video. Some of the other stuff we'll save for the next time around. But how can you benefit from both? And again, it goes all the way back to speaker attribution. It's making sure that we outfit the room itself with technology sourced from our OEM partners. Some of it's going to happen in the cloud. Some of it's going to be hardware based. But between all of us, those of us on this call coming together, we're able to provide speaker attribution in a room. So intelligent speakers, as well as IntelliFrame, they all bring that inclusive and collaborative environment together. But it really, from a productivity perspective, it doesn't get any better than the intelligent recap that you're going to gain from your meeting rooms. So a little bit about what that looks like. I want to provide a little bit of tangible look about what it looks like. So this is without intelligent speaker. And let me get my trusty little highlighter. Hopefully folks can see it on the far end. But effectively, you've got right here, you see conference room 1245, right? This is what your speaker track notes would look like if you did not have an intelligent speaker, right? If we go over to the next, you'll see up here, conference room 1245 wants to blah, 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 right? So conference room is saying all this stuff. We know that the conference room isn't the person who's talking, and there's other folks in the conference room that are actually saying something. So doesn't it look a whole lot better if you do a post-meeting recap with your intelligent speaker? So you look here, that actually it's Mona and Babak were in the same room. And so you'll see we used to have the conference room had the track notes all the way across the line. And now we've got subdivided to where we know that when Mona was speaking or when Babak was speaking, we're going to get that information from them. And again, on the meeting notes, how everything is typed out, we go from having conference room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 said this to the actual individuals and what they said. So when you're trying to gain true meeting insight from a meeting that happened, you have to be able to attribute it to a speaker. You have to know who said what and when, so you can grab context from the meeting. So moving on, another quick glance, this puts them really side by side, just kind of reiterates the point, but Copilot without attribution and Copilot with attribution, you see here, same story as before. Conference room is saying something when in reality it is Christian in Seattle who is actually saying something. So that's a very small but very, very big detail. And it really is important for our customers that are adopting Copilot, especially those that are adopting it at scale, because they are truly wanting to leverage these tools and make them work for them. So us addressing the room is a critical component and pillar for Copilot. Something new, I want to make sure I brought something new for the team. So we did at Microsoft Ignite, which was a couple of weeks back, we did announce a bunch of new agents, but one of them that I want to focus on in particular, because it's very applicable to our conversation here today, which is a facilitator. This is a fantastic new tool. Facilitator can be used, can be invited to a meeting. So if I just want to walk into a meeting room and use it in ad hoc fashion, I can still invite facilitator to my meeting, and they're going to take active notes. I don't know how all of you feel, but I am not at my best whenever I'm trying to take down notes while somebody is speaking. It works a whole lot better if I can have Copilot and pass that task onto this facilitator agent to take those copious notes. Then I can be fully engaged within my meeting and fully paying attention to all the folks that are on the call. And the good news about the facilitator agent, as we start getting and talking to front row, before I segue and hand it over to Chris, the front row layout is very distinctive, right? You've got all the participants that are at the bottom, and this is a combination of cloud IntelliFrame from Microsoft, as well as IntelliFrame or multi-channel or multi-stream IntelliFrame from some of our OEM partners. But effectively, you see everybody is sitting across from you lifelike, right? So it allows you to have that eye gaze with the attendees. Again, trying to make sure we're building that inclusivity. Everybody's also got their own square. And we've also given everybody a black background. So we've removed a lot of the distractions from different backgrounds, different looks. And now you have a real nice, clean look of all the people that are sitting across from you. And so as the rest of the group today, talks about their solutions and offerings, try to conceptualize, you're really sitting at a table designed to be looking directly across from you, just like you would be in a normal meeting environment. Spatial audio also within front row, within the signature room is paramount, right? Whenever somebody's speaking, we want to hear, we naturally associate, if somebody's speaking to me from my right side, my tendency is to look to the right. We want to accomplish that in a meeting environment because it helps your brain really do less work, right? So I know if somebody's speaking and I'm hearing from the right, I'm naturally going to go to the right and more than likely going to see that person who is speaking. So again, just removing a little bit of the friction from meetings. But the main thing I wanted to talk about today was this little segment up there at the top left. So you'll see on the top right of the layout, this is the beauty of having the 21:9 displays. On the right, we've got all the meeting chat. And on the left, we've got raised hands, but that's a little bit of a section that can be adjusted. So the facilitator agent and meeting notes, for example, that we just talked about is going to be incorporated into the front row layout. And it will be one of those segments that you can choose to place on the left. So allow you to keep track of everything that's being chatted about on the right, while also seeing the facilitator notes that are happening on the left. And of course, through Facilitator, you can go in and add notes. So it's a creative, evolving process involving everybody that's on the call. But that does give another distinct value add and benefit to that front row layout and the signature room in general. So I want to make sure I covered that. With that, thank you all for the time. I'll stick around to answer any questions at the end, but I will be passing it over to Christopher Miola.
Thank you, Randy. Afternoon, everyone. My name is Christopher Miola, and I am a Senior Channel Manager here at Jabra. So great to see everyone. Let me just go ahead and pull it up and present real quick. Should be good to go. Okay, so today we are going to talk, as Randy mentioned, he talked about some of the great OEM partners out there that can bring intelligent devices into the conference room, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today with the Jabra PanaCast 50, and what we can actually bring to the conference room to make it a more equitable and intelligent environment. So there's obviously quite a bit of options out there when it comes to hardware manufacturers, and it seems like everyone is making a video bar these days, and you have to ask yourself, not just what manufacturer I want to work with, but why, and how am I going to collaborate in my space, and then what are those differentiators in the market. So while Jabra certainly has plenty that we can touch on, there's just a couple that I'm going to go through today that really hone in on the environments that we're talking about today, and really bring something unique to the conference room. So what is the PanaCast 50's foundation with Jabra? And the first thing is to make sure that everyone is seen and everyone is heard in the conference room. So Jabra does 180-degree field of view through our PanaCast 50, which is still the largest field of view that is out there on the market today. With most other manufacturers, you may see from 90 to 120 or 140, but the first common thing that comes up in the conference room is making sure that everyone on the far left and the far right is seen and is heard, right? It's extremely important. It's still a common use case today. You have people sometimes that'll lean into the left or lean into the right in a conference room, and it's not because the cameras or the technology in there there is not good. It's just that you're missing those individuals on the far left and far right. So we want to make sure it's equitable, right? We're trying to make things more seamless for the remote participants, right? Everyone in the conference room can engage and interact, but it makes things a little bit messy for the remote participants if they can't see and hear everyone clearly all the time, right? The other thing that I always like to highlight with Jabra that's a big differentiator for us is the amount of technology that we actually put into our PanaCast 50 series. You know, AI is a huge buzzword, but you know, the PanaCast 50 has been on the market for a little over 4 years now, and we have built in Edge AI for both audio and video into our bar. It gives us a little bit more runway in the marketplace when it comes to, you know, end of life with a device. We haven't had to go back to the drawing board and recreate something new. We haven't had to build something new. We've actually been able to keep up with what the Microsoft Teams platform is trying to bring to the meeting environment, those intelligent experiences. For us, it's a firmware update, and that's because, you know, we've worked closely with partners like Qualcomm and put in very strong microprocessors in there to be able to, you know, push through that code and make sure that our bar is kept up with everything that the Teams platform wants to do from an intelligent perspective. And then, of course, the audio, right? A lot of people know Jabra. We've been around for 150 years, and we're a global market leader in audio. We put a tremendous amount of audio into our device, 8 beamforming microphones and 4 speakers. But you know, it's the audio component along with our video component, right, that makes our our front of room all-in-one video bar really stand out when we're talking about collaboration spaces. So just to give you an idea of what we have in our video portfolio, everything that you see here is what we offer in the marketplace today, with the exception of our personal camera, the PanaCast 20. And all 3 of these devices, while they look the same, they're a little bit different, but they all do serve the same type of room archetype, which is the huddle, small, and medium-sized room, right? So we're talking 20 by 20 is really our sweet spot when we come to building out a conference room with the PanaCast 50. So we'll start quickly from the top. This is our PanaCast 50 as a bring your own device, meaning if you have a huddle room and, you know, you have a display in there, HDMI, people are always going to be bringing in their personal laptop to share content. This is an intelligent all-in-one video bar that you could have in there, still get intelligence from it, right, with all those things that I talked about, the advanced chipset, etc., and just plug and play into your laptop. What I have circled over here is our PanaCast 50 room solution for a Windows-based environment, and you're going to see a Lenovo Core Compute in there, and then also a USB touch controller. Lenovo is going to talk a little bit more today about what they bring to the environment with those 2 elements, which are very, very key when we talk about a native Teams room environment running on Windows. And there's also some unique experiences that you can only have when you have this type of solution in your collaboration space. And then the bottom over here is our PanaCast 50 video bar system. It's still got the compute, but it's embedded into the video bar system, and then our Android touch controller. So as we move on, we talked a little bit about the room archetypes, right? A huddle, small, medium-sized room, 20 by 20. But because this is a signature room webinar, I wanted to just talk a little bit about that signature room space and give you some different applications of what you could do when you're envisioning what your signature room space could look like. Jabra has worked very, very closely, again, with our alliance partners, Lenovo, but also Jupiter and Salamander, to build out what we feel is a really out-of-the-box, ease-of-use solution for your collaboration space in the signature room with the 21 by 9 display, and then of course the hardware and the Salamander Arc table, right? So you see some different applications for a focus room. Still get that Arc table with the display, whiteboarding on the left-hand side. The PanaCast 50 does have a built-in content camera in it, so you can take advantage of that whiteboard capability and not have to buy any additional hardware. You have a signature style room for the medium or for the small style room, excuse me, and then to the far right, what Randy was showing, that full front row view with the larger Arc table and then the 21 by 9 display. So different ways to think about how you want to build out your spaces. The signature room isn't only just for a medium-sized conference room or a bigger conference room. You can also do it in a focus and a small style room as well. So I mentioned that there were specific experiences that I was going to touch on that were applicable to our Windows-based room system in the Microsoft Teams environment. So you see a lot of different experiences or features, if you would call them, on the screen over here. But the 2 that I'm going to talk about today are to build upon what Randy mentioned in the beginning, Intelligent Meeting Recap, is Intelligent Speaker and how we have a differentiator with the PanaCast 50 with that in market, and then also multi-stream IntelliFrame and what that means to Jabra and how that again brings itself into an intelligent meeting experience. So what is Intelligent Speaker? Well, Randy mentioned it, right? And he went through it. It's essentially being able to identify the in-room participants and attribute what they're saying into the chat transcript. There are some components that you have to be mindful of before you can actually get this feature up and running and off the ground. First and foremost, your organizational admin has to allow conditional access for this to take place. But when he or she does, it's actually fairly easy to go in and create your voice ID, which is what you would need to do. It's a voice imprint, essentially. It's embedded in the Microsoft Teams platform in the settings section. You would essentially read a short paragraph a couple times over. It would capture your voice. You can remove it at any time, but you would actually be able to enroll your voice into the platform, right? And then what that would allow is if I've enrolled my voice ID and I have a intelligent device inside the conference room, in this case, the PanaCast 50 with the Lenovo Core Compute and USB touch controller, and I was starting a meeting, recording the meeting, the PanaCast 50 would be able to pick up my voice, attribute me, who I am and what I am saying through, the camera itself, and then back into the cloud, right? And be able to make that distinction that it was me speaking, and then attribute it into the chat transcript. So it's a really unique feature when we talk about efficiencies, right? If you miss a meeting, or you want to give action items from a meeting, you can do that. And especially if you have the Copilot tool as well, you can actually assign tasks, right, to individuals who have enrolled their voice, and are able, and as they've enrolled their voice and they come in, you're able to take advantage of that type of experience. So there's a lot there, right? There's a lot to layer up on when it comes to enhancing the Copilot feature, but the big differentiator here for us is, yes, we are an intelligent device, but we are the only certified all-in-one video bar, front of room video bar that's certified for intelligent speaker. And where that comes into importance is you saw Randy, he was showing some different examples of a meeting. As you get more and more people that come into a conference room that have enrolled their voice and want to take advantage of intelligent meeting recaps and Copilot, you are going to get people that are speaking at the same time. And you want to make sure that you have a device that's able to pick up those individuals separately. Now, I don't know what the delta is. I don't know, how, what the accuracy component is, but Microsoft has stated that having a certified device for intelligent speaker will give you better accuracy as more individuals come into the room and start to speak at the same time, right? So again, like, it's just about understanding and making sure that you're making the right investment into the right hardware. So the other unique thing that we do in the Windows-based environment, again, this particular experience can only happen when you have a native Teams room system running on Windows, is the multi-stream IntelliFrame and people recognition. So multi-stream IntelliFrame is a very, very unique view in which the PanaCast 50 is able to take the last two active speakers and give them their own video stream, and then a third stream running at the bottom that shows a 180-degree panoramic view of the room. You may ask yourself, okay, well, why would I need that, and why would I need that video layout enabled? So as a remote participant, if I'm giving a presentation, right, and I'm looking at the last two active speakers in front of me, and I'm eye level and facing towards them, there could be other people from an executive leadership perspective or a senior leadership perspective on my far left or on my far right. I can't see their verbal cues. I can't see their social cues. I can't see how they're reacting. Do they like my content? Are they doing something else? Are they not engaged? It helps me as a remote participant become more engaged in that meeting environment and be able to have, a better reading and be able to either adjust my tone or ask questions, make sure the room is still engaged. That's why we've chosen that view to give you the last two active speakers and then a third stream running at the bottom, which is a 180-degree panoramic view of the room. And then the last thing before I pass it over to Lenovo to go through their components in our Windows-based room solution is people recognition. So similar to your voice ID, if you decide to enroll your Face ID into the Microsoft Teams platform, there's a lot of magic that takes place in the background when you talk about walking into a conference room, the PanaCast 15 taking snapshots of you and then sending streams up into the cloud to make that recognition that it's you, that it's your face actually coming into the room. But as an in-person attendee, if you decide to enroll your Face ID and you have multi-stream IntelliFrame running in that room environment, your name will actually pop up inside your video tile. So you can see that Ollie And Laura in the conference room, the third stream over here is of the conference room, but it actually says their name, Ollie Henderson, and then Laura in these two boxes because they've enrolled their face for Face ID, right? And then these are the remote participants over here who always have their name displayed. So some really cool, unique experiences, especially when it comes to a Windows-based room environment with the Panicast 50. And with that, I will pass it over to Mark Whitaker from Lenovo to take you through the rest of the solution in the bundle.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. My name is Mark Whitaker. I'm a smart collaboration technical consultant with Lenovo. That's right. They brought out the big guns here to talk to you today. Thank you very much for having me. Before we get going, I just want to kind of talk through about what our whole portfolio is, but then I want to delve into what would actually go into a signature room. So for starters, again, Lenovo does provide a whole host of options for your ThinkSmart, for any of your conference room spaces, frankly. And with that ranges from BYO all the way up to large spaces, whatever you might need. So we start off with a BYO device, which we have a ThinkSmart dock. It actually has a ridiculously long name, which is why I just call it the ThinkSmart dock. And it's designed for those BYO spaces to give you that single point of connectivity to your laptop that would then be able to take over the displays and any peripherals in the room with just one connection at the table that will also power your laptop, which is really cool. This is also managed, remotely managed capable, so you could actually do all kinds of updates and get metrics and analytics into how frequently your BYO spaces get used, which is also another great thing. We get into kind of the mainstay, the middle part of our journey through our product platform. And we have a ThinkSmart core and controller, which I'll be talking a lot more about because frankly, that's what would be going into the signature spaces. But I also wanted to mention the ThinkSmart One, which is the world's first and only Windows-based all-in-one bar. So it has the speakers, microphones, cameras, compute, everything all built into one device. You hang it on the wall, put the touch panel on the table, plug it into your display, and you've got a Teams room. It's pretty cool. And then we have our ThinkSmart Hub. Our ThinkSmart Hub is a center of table experience where this would go in the middle of your table. It has speakers, microphones, and compute, as well as a touch panel, all built into one device. It is the mainstay of where we got started. And frankly, this is the second generation of this particular device. It's a beautiful device. And frankly, it could be used in much larger spaces than what it's actually typically used for. However, it likes to stay to that medium to small spaces just because of the fact that what ends up happening is because it's a center of table device. If you go into those larger spaces, typically the table gets larger and then people want to try to pull it towards them to use it. And that causes some usability issues. The microphones are no longer center of table, et cetera, et cetera. You get the idea. We also have a new device that started shipping a couple months ago called our Tiny Kit, which is our USB touch panel and our ThinkSmart Tiny. Now, this is a reduced price, we'll say, Teams room compute. And frankly, it is designed for those small spaces and huddle spaces where you might want to go from a BYO experience into a full-blown Teams room experience so that you can get that Teams room experience and all the goodies that come with it on the back end of the Teams platform without having to break the bank. Frankly, these are sub $1,000. And I know you have a question right away saying, why wouldn't I use that in the Teams signature room? And that's a valid question. And the real answer is because in order to get beneath that price point, we had to do some trickery with it and kind of some back end component reconfiguring, et cetera. And basically what happens is that this strips out any advanced capabilities. And those are the advanced capabilities that, such as all the intelligence speakers, et cetera, speaker attribution. This device can't actually do that stuff. So this can't be used in a Teams signature room. However, our core and controller can. And we'll get into that, like I said, in just a moment. We do also have some peripherals, such as our ThinkSmart camera and our ThinkSmart Bar 180 that you might suggest after Chris just spoke to you about that Panicast 50 looks very suspiciously familiar. And I'll tell you, that's because it is exactly what you think it is. We believe in that technology at Lenovo enough that we actually rebrand it and resell it on our own. So it's a beautiful device. And Chris, thank you for sharing that with us today. I think it's got a lot of great great AI features, and there's nothing but good upside with that device. So I'm really excited about that. But for the brain, pardon the expression, the jelly of the jelly donut, which is what Lenovo is in this whole bit, the jelly. Actually, I'm sure all of us think we're the jelly, but we're the actual jelly. Yeah, but is our ThinkSmart Core. Our ThinkSmart Core is our Windows-based compute device for Microsoft Teams Room systems. And it is fully modular, and it is designed specifically to work with just about any display, but more importantly, 21.9 displays and Jupyter displays, no less, as well as with any number of different peripherals and all kinds of crazy stuff. So really, this is the mainstay of our fleet, and this is what you'd really want to be using in our Microsoft Teams signature room. I don't really want to get through all the speeds and feeds and all the crazy ins and outs and all the crazy stuff, but this is a beautiful device, but there's more to it that I'll tell you about in just a minute. Pairing with this device is our IP controller. Our IP controller, our initial controller was our USB controller, and that was just basically a touchpad that had a 10-meter USB cable that had a honking huge repeater in the middle of the cable, and was a very difficult thing to install, particularly if you were going through a conduit. It was a pain, frankly. And so what we did is we said, let's actually build something that actually goes across Cat cable, the Cat 5, Cat 6, whatever it might be. And that's where this comes in. This also has a distinct advantage that our USB controller did not have. And that is that you do have the ability to have an HDMI ingest on this compute. Now, if you happen to have this integrated into a larger space or have some specific technology that you want to use, you don't have to use the HDMI ingest at this. You could, at the IP controller, that is, at the table. If you had something like a third-party system that you wanted to use, you could still use that connected directly to the core. We're not limiting you to just the connection at the table. The other good part about this guy is wall mountable. Because this is wall mountable, again, we don't want you to have to run an HDMI system from the table to the wall just so it can then go back to the core compute that conceivably is behind the display. You could just run it right from the table to the display, call it a day, which is great. But what's really interesting about all of these devices is a brand new device that was just announced a couple weeks ago, and that's our ThinkSmart Core Gen 2. This will be shipping in January. This is a purpose-built modular solution for all meeting spaces. I know it says it right there, but what does that mean? Ultimately, all of our products are purpose-built. Why Lenovo, you might ask? Why not somebody else? Windows should be obvious at this point in time because signature rooms can only go on Windows devices. They do not go on other OS devices. But why Lenovo? There's other options. Why Lenovo? It's because of our purpose-built nature. What that actually means is that we don't just take an off-the-shelf PC, slap the Teams software on it, and kind of put it out there. That's a recipe for disaster, frankly, because that PC is not designed to be put behind displays. That this PC is not designed to be tucked under a table. Our PCs are. They are specifically, purposely designed for that intent. So you know you're not going to have the thing blow up on you in 6 months. Just saying. Anyway. It does have the ability to it actually ships with the, what am I thinking? The cable management. However, if you didn't want to use it, you can remove that. It's actually just it's actually a set of 3 small screws, and it just pops off. So it's really cool. It is also available with an i5 or an i7, as well as with 16 or 32 gigs of RAM. So as Microsoft rolls out with more features associated with the Microsoft Teams signature room, you'll be able to keep up with those features because we will have the ability, if you buy the i7 with 32 gigs of RAM, you know you're going to be covered for whatever Microsoft throws at you in the future. We also have an enhanced thermal design for quiet operation, which means that behind the display, you won't hear it. We're not adding to the noise floor of the room, which yields for better meetings and lots of other side benefits. Excuse me. We talked about the purpose-built nature. It's a smaller footprint than our standard core. Lots of different options. We also built in an EDID minder. Why does this matter? Well, in the past, what's ended up happening is that the EDID was for those of you who don't know, EDID is a handshake that occurs between a device and a display to be able to tell what actual resolutions to use, etc. We have one built in now. And that solves many issues that have cropped up over the course of the last couple of years with these devices. And then we also have an optional BYOM module. So that, frankly, they're all going to be shipping with that. But really, it's a single USB-C. You'll take over the peripherals, and then it can do other meetings if you needed it to. But frankly, with the team signature room, why would you want to do another meeting? It is, like I said, ship supporting in January 2025. We talked about the BYOM feature. One other key thing about this before I get going is that it does ship with an NPU. What is an NPU? An NPU is a neural processing unit, which means that it was mentioned earlier in the call that AI, it's the wave of the future. We've already thought of that, and we're including the ability to process AI more efficiently than other products based on our NPU. You theoretically could do any NPU functionality with the GPU. However, in this day and age, with all our green initiatives, etc., what I can tell you straight up is that an NPU can do it so much more efficiently that you will noticeably reduce your power consumption as a function of running those AI features on the NPU rather than the GPU. And you can see a little graphical fun layout for that. We also have the first year maintenance, but what that actually is that if you have problems setting this up, call into our support. We'll help you set it up. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Charles Montoya from Jupiter. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate it. Hey, everybody, Charlie Montoya with Jupiter. Let me pull up my PowerPoint slide here real quick. So today I'm going to talk to you obviously about Jupiter, what we do, where we're at, and kind of give you a good rundown of our overall product and why we do it. I think the biggest question that I get from people who are looking at doing signature rooms and start asking about displays is really why 21 by 9? Why is it so important? And how did Jupiter get involved in this? So to start it off, yes, 21 by 9 is a phenomenon that is going to be here to stay for a long period of time. I'm an older guy, right? I'm getting ready to be 50 now. I'm old enough to remember 4x3 monitors. And then 4x3 quickly got taken over by 16 by 9. Very shortly after that, you're going to start seeing 21 by 9 start to take over, just like it did with the 16 by 9. And the reason why is because of the quality of video that you're able to get. So going back a second here, when Jupiter first started to go the 21 by 9 route, we knew we wanted to make it for commercial use. We knew it would fit a very strong need in the commercial space. Our initial thought process was this would be a great product to be able to get rid of dual display monitors. Funny enough, about 4 years ago when we started to launch this, Microsoft saw our product and said, hey, we would love to use this for Microsoft Teams Front Row. This fills a huge gap that we have, and we'd like to see if we can work with you on it. So very early on in our process, we partnered up with Microsoft to take the 21 by 9 and focus it on the signature room and the Microsoft Teams Front Row experience. And let's be honest, it's been a hit, right? The fact that with Microsoft Teams Front Row, you can get that true hybrid workflow environment feel in the conference room, be able to see everybody, talk to everybody, see full content. With some of the new features Microsoft's going to be rolling out next year, you're going to be able to change up a lot of the features in it. It's really going to give people a lot more opportunity and a lot more, when I say immersive experience in it. So for Jupiter, what we understood really early on was that whenever you're looking at a display, whenever you're looking at a monitor, really you start getting these 98-inch displays, you start getting these 85-inch displays, and your eyes start going up and down, and you lose the continuity. You lose the actual display. You're only seeing parts of it because your eyes don't grasp in the up and down concept. They grasp more in a wider concept. So we really felt that the 21 by 9 could fit that niche and fit that need. And it really has taken off so quickly. Once again, when we first did this with Microsoft 4 years ago, it was two of us presenting at InfoComm about 21 by 9. I don't know if any of you all went to InfoComm this year. There were relatively over 60 different companies that were building their technology. Everybody that you're seeing here on the call today is building their technology towards 21 by 9 because they're seeing that this is the next generation evolving of display technology. And at Jupiter, we've been at the forefront. Everybody that's been on this call today, everybody that we work with on a regular basis, when they're looking to do 21 by 9, they reach out to Jupiter because they know that we really started building displays not for digital signage, but we built displays that were going to be effective in the conference room. And that's what we've done extremely well. We've continued to build products that can make it simple and easy for people to see the content, understand the content, and get the best quality video possible. So you might ask, what really makes you stand out, right? If I'm taking a look at a Jupiter display versus another display, what really sets you all apart? And one, I'd say, we built this product for the conference room. And that says a lot. A lot of companies that are coming out and building displays today, hey, they've been doing digital signage for a long time. They think, hey, I'm just going to stretch out the content a little bit. I'm just going to add a few inches here, a few inches there, and it's going to be 21 by 9, and it's going to work perfectly. That's not the case. If you listen to everybody that's been on this call today, we've all built our technology based on the actual application. And because of that, you get the best performing solution on the marketplace. That's exactly what Jupiter did, right? We came out with 21 by 9 for the conference room. So if you go into one of the 21 by 9 systems, if you go into one of our Jupiter Pana displays, you'll see, right? EDID, yes, we have it. Wake on Sync, yes, we have it. We have anti-haze and anti-glare, things that you don't typically see on digital signage. We have that in our displays because we want that look and feel for a conference room. We want that mirror-like image for the conference room, where other people are just going, hey, it's 21 by 9, it's going to be the same thing. That's not Jupiter standard. That's not what we do. So from the get-go, when we started with our display technology, we built that with a single purpose in mind, to build it to the conference room. And I tell this to everybody. I talk to a lot of integrators. I talk to a lot of people that I've known for over 20 years now. I've been in this industry. And everybody like, is it really going to be next technology? Is 21 by 9 really going to be the direction we're going? And I tell everybody, take a look at the streaming services today. Netflix now does 21 by 9. YouTube TV now does 21 by 9. Apple TV now does 21 by 9. Everybody's moving in this direction. I promise you, if you're on this call today, within the next 5 years, you are going to have 21 by 9 displays at your home. So it's here to stay. And really, I'm so happy that Jupiter got in early on with Microsoft to build it for the signature rooms, because it's shown the quality, it's shown the durability, and it literally shows its lasting impression on the industry on what we can do and what we can offer and how we can continue to build. So you can see all the feature sets that we do as we continue to come out with our next generation of display products. They're all going to be included in the Microsoft family line, right? We're going to continue to work with Microsoft and build towards it to give the high standards, because we know that's exactly what the Microsoft team's customers look for. So once again, display, I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet for everybody today. The one last part that I would tell everybody on this call is one thing that makes Jupiter stand out compared to everybody else is when we do 21 by 9, we're one of the few companies, if not the only companies, that can offer 21 by 9 solutions all the way from the 34-inch all the way up to a 281-inch display and everything in between, because we are truly a 21 by 9 display manufacturer, and we've proven that since day one. So once again, want to keep it short and sweet. I know we're getting that holiday season, so people might be a little tired today. So with that, I want to kick it off to a good buddy of mine who I've gone to many, many trade shows with, Chris Descato for Salamander.
Well, thank you very much, Charles. Really appreciate that, and appreciate everyone that's here today, and our partners, Microsoft, Jabra, Lenovo, of course, Jupiter. And what I'm going to show you is how Salamander really brings it all together and helps you to deploy these spaces in a way that is fast and construction free, right? So we have lots of different products. We've been really building beautiful systems to support technology for 35 years now. Sal, our founder, actually started with an open air audio rack. So it's always been about the integration of technology into furniture systems that allow those pieces of technology to really shine while being very beautiful as well in the environment. So today we operate an 80,000 square foot facility in Bloomfield, Connecticut, where we ship all over the world. Very environmentally conscious as well. It's a 100% solar powered facility. And what we're known for is premium mounting solutions. So what we do is we enable organizations to take their displays from Jupiter and really mount them across a wide variety of situations. So from more of a room mount, all the way through mobile solutions, height adjustable. And we also are really good partners with Microsoft, and we have hub certified solutions as well, both mobile and stationary. And all of our solutions allow this display technology to be deployed in a way that is completely construction free, saving organizations a lot of time, money, and aggravation because it takes a lot less trades in order to get a room deployed. So if you look at a standard meeting space, if you wanted to get this room turned into a meeting space, what you would be doing is putting backing in the wall, conduit through the wall, and that would take a GC in multiple trades in order to get done. With Salamander, it's simply designing the right mounting solution for your particular displays, and you don't need to do any specialized wall construction, raise electrical, run conduit in the wall. And our solutions can go from your small displays through your Jupiter 105s up to your direct view LEDs as well, without requiring any wall reinforcement. So that could be on a cabinet as thin as 6 inches deep. We also have 12 inches deep. Those two would require just drywall toggles. And then we have cabinets that are completely freestanding, our 21-inch deep cabinet and our 30-inch deep cabinet completely freestanding. And again, we have solutions with all of these that can work up to your direct view LEDs. So if it's a meeting room video technology, we have a way of installing that really construction free in a way that's very adaptable for future use cases, and also allows it to be installed with ADA compliancy in mind, because there's a cabinet that would be below that display, means that there's something there for cane detection. So inside of all of our different solutions, we have ways of mounting gear with ventilation and wire management as well. With our thinner cabinets, we have vertical mounting. With our deeper cabinets, we have pull-out rack cartridges, but also hospitality options as well, such as trash recycling and refrigeration and pull-out drawers and shelves. So we can really check the boxes, both for the AV and technical side of the equation, but also for the facilities and design folks as well. And speaking of the AV side, all bays have passive vents that then when you add in our active cooling fans, you're able to draw air up from the coolest point in the room. Of course, we will work with you on any sort of cut-ins that are needed on any of our products, whether it be cabinets or later on, I'm going to talk a little bit about our tables as well. Whether you're using one of our standard finishes, and we have a variety of high quality standard finishes, almost all of these are hardwood veneers, or if you want to go off book and match something that's already in the room, or you're working with a designer or architect, and we will work right along with those design folks in order to make sure that it's going to be matched exactly to what's needed for the project. And with our cabinets, you can actually go online and even without a login, you can design a cabinet that can hold from a 50-inch display all the way up to your dual 100s, the Jupiter 21x9 displays, and option it out from 1 bay all the way up to 8 bays with your racking, your cooling, and all the other accessories that you may want to put inside a cabinet, and get detailed drawings, all the heights So for the height for the center of display and the center of lens, that is all adjustable within that really easy online design tool we have. And then you get really nice documentation at the end. So you can see what your pricing is. If you have a login, you can see list price and get really in just a few minutes something that then you can show the other folks on your team how you can deploy your video technology in a way that is completely construction free. So aside from standard displays, I was mentioning a direct view LED as well, and we do a lot of those. So this happens to be a 150-inch display that we just recently deployed actually for the Philly Flyers for their room where they do all their play analysis. But whatever size display you have, we have solutions in order to hold that display, again, without any wall construction. It can be completely freestanding or just with a little bit of drywall anchoring. So that's what it would take for the room to get set up with any display that you like. Of course, a signature Teams room would be a 21:9 display from our friends at Jupiter. And then going out into that space, we have a wide variety of tables depending on what size room you're looking to deploy. So we have huddle solutions with smaller tables. We have boat and trapezoidal shaped tables of any size from your standard room all the way up to your high-end executive spaces. And of course, we're focusing in here on the arc table, which is for that medium signature Teams room, which New Hera has on display there right outside of Philly. So, when you think about the shapes of tables, the arc table is really the best for your site-to-site collaboration. So when you're going to have a meeting where there's going to be a substantial amount of people that are going to be remote, having an arc table set up, having a Teams room, your medium Teams room set up is really great because it mimics that same type of meeting that you'd have if you were across the table from the other folks in the meeting. And then if you have a meeting where everyone's going to be in the same room and rarely on video, then that's where a boat-shaped table comes in. But that is really more of an older style that we don't recommend anymore. So for all the rooms that we're talking about here with all the technology that we've been talking about, it's really about trapezoidal tables, whether it's a larger room or a huddle, or the arc table for that medium Teams room environment. And for that, again, we have a really beautiful arc table. We also have a nice online design tool for that as well. Here you can see one deployed here actually with a 105-inch Jupiter there on a 4-bay cabinet, completely freestanding, and a really beautiful arc table as well. And then we have some human scale chairs here, which you can also get from us. So you can really, you get that full solution for everything that supports that video room technology. Now, these tables have a really nice wire raceway in front. We give you some wire loom that goes up one of the legs in order to make sure that you can get wires from the floor or from the box on the floor up into the up into that your wire raceway. And then we have cut-ins, and just like with our cabinets, whether you're bringing your own cut-in or if you're going to be using one of ours, we will make sure that hole is already there. So it's very easy just to drop that in and get the installation completed. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Eric Bixler. He's the National Director of AV Solutions for New Era Technology. Thank you very much, everyone, for having us part of this webinar.
Thank you very much, guys. Lots of information, and hopefully your takeaway is that there is, with these signature rooms, that there are high quality collaboration spaces that you can deploy for your organization that are easy to use, simple to deploy, cost effective. They don't need to be some out of budget kind of product or solution. And when you're working with not only New Era, but all of our partners, I think you can see that you're working with companies that bring innovation, performance, and reliability. So thank you guys all for the time to put into that presentation. If you just advance that there, John. Just a real quick note and commercial on New Era and the GVC, which is our Global Video Collaboration Division, is truly a global group that with 3 different network operations center here in North America, the United Kingdom, and in New Zealand, allowing us to provide a sun never sets support for our customers. I think one of the things that we'd love for you to take away, not only about these products and solutions that we have, but also picking the right partner to help deploy them. New Era prides ourselves in our ability to deliver these solutions anywhere in the world to our customers, big and small. And not only and once they're developed or installed, that we're able to just support them to make sure that they're always up and always working. To that point, if you could advance that slide, we have a wide range of support teams that allow us to be able to make sure the systems are running. So many of our customers maybe have a skeleton crew, and all of a sudden they blink their eyes and they have maybe 10, 20, 30, hundreds or thousands of conference rooms around the world, and they're trying to figure out how to support them. To do that, we've helped develop some tools internally that will give us a good insight. If you could advance that, Jonathan, we have the ability to widely support hybrid working, make sure that we're at least increasing our business effectiveness and simplify the migration to these new technologies. We're running up at the end. I know we have I think we might have 1 or 2 questions. But if you just advance one more slide there, Jonathan. Our service team, we have a wide range of support. We're 24/7. We do live active monitoring, so we can always see what's going on, where we can jump in and take some support. And generally speaking, we have a phrase here that no meeting missed is our mantra to make sure it's done. I will kind of try to, jump forward here too, as we get to the end. Again, this is a custom dashboard and tool that we have that allows us to monitor all products in the Microsoft Teams room and or an enterprise AV solution. So if it can be on the network, we can check to see the status. This integrates nicely into your Teams portal to give additional information and insights. We can take control remotely of any space and to allow to be able to see what's going on in your environment. Just forward with that one more time there. Also, we have tools that will allow your users to have a simple access to support by bringing in their phone, hitting a QR code in the room. They can immediately be connected to a live technical support or access to support documents, and or to report and open up a ticket if need be. And then finally, we have the experience to deploy these solutions anywhere around. We're just going to advance right over to the end here. I want to get to any Q&A and also the raffle. So I believe Danielle, are you handling the raffle? Is that correct?
Yes. So I was just going to say, if anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A section or unmute if you can and ask live. We will be giving away our Solo Stove S'mores package after the call, so we will inform the winner shortly thereafter via email or phone if they're the winner. But again, just give it another minute or so if anybody has any questions from any of the speakers.
Not surprising. Questions was so comprehensive of an overview. It really left no questions to be asked. So with that, again, I want to thank not only our partners, but all of you that took time to watch this. If you do get this recording, feel free to forward it on to your coworkers and or peers, and be glad to answer any questions that you may have about Microsoft Signature and or any of the products that we discussed here today. And thank you.